Howdy folks, Kirk and Jay here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Today I want to point out some staple guns and the differences between them and code versus cosmetics. What we're doing is this Dan's job, Carl's job. We're out in Marin. Last time I've been out here, we did Sears Point Raceway like 35 years ago. We are far from my house. Anyway, what we're going to do, guys, is we got plywood here. We got to protect the mud seal. So this is what you guys do when you put an addition on, whether or not you're tearing stucco off or putting it on. What we want to do is protect the mud seal. So Dan, get me under that paper there, and I'm going to put this on. Let's see. I'm putting a staple here, and the code and cosmetics that I was referring to, guys, is the question that they had asked me. Okay, we got that weep screed on. All right, now notice one layer of paper. This is roofing paper. It's 30 or 60. Jay and I did a video about 10 years ago. I was talking about, doesn't matter what kind of paper you put on, guys. It could be 30, 60 mint roofing paper. It could be Tyvek. It could be any number of the papers we use. We prefer 2 layers of grade D 60-minute paper. So now that we got a weep screed on, we're going to cover it again and add that second layer of paper like Carl's doing over here. We're going to show you that in a minute. But what I want to talk about is this had stucco all over here. The stucco was pretty beat up, so they pulled it all off. They did an excellent job. However, okay, here's the code versus cosmetic. Jay and I did another video 15 years ago, and we was explaining this. So they had all this stucco here, and the question from the homeowner, he says, look, do I got to take the stucco, the new stucco down to this, or do I got to put one of those silly weep screeds? I said, put the silly weep screed, because the weep screed, 3 purposes, guys. What are they? Anybody know? Anybody care? Okay. In 1980, these were code, so we put the weep screeds on. What are the 3 main reasons that we use weep screeds instead of taking it to the bottom like we used to do? Well, this gives us something to stop the stucco. It also acts as an expansion joint, and for a 3-coat color finish, the water, technically, the moisture goes through, hits the paper, and weeps out harmlessly. But the expansion and something to stop at is what is the most important. So if you guys have a whole bunch of stucco here, and it's just a little area, then of course you can go down to that to the stucco, because say you have a weep screed here, that looks great for all new walls like this. But when you have, say, the stucco going down, and you just got a little patch, and I've seen this guy put a weep screed. I said, man, that's some silly looking stuff, because you're thinking about code, but you're forgetting about cosmetics. The cosmetics mean you want your house to look good. You don't want stucco going down here, and then see a weep screed only 5 feet. So we have the option. We have to mix codes with cosmetics. Anything that was done before 1980 will not have this, so you can go back to your original and not worry about that. Okay, next on the list, I'll talk about stucco guns, guys, because we got robbed. 35 years I've been in the same spot. We got robbed 3 times in 1 month. And I went to do a job, and the guy said, Kirk, I got this gun right here. And I said, cool, how about that? And he says, well, I paid $100 for it. And so I was trying, and I thought, that's not a bad gun. I'm going to take you up. Because we're on the point of guns, I had 9 guns taken in 3 different times. Jay welded up all the boxes. They stole the truck. Not to mention, if you guys have car insurance, that's another whine of mine. It was tough enough to have them replace the steering columns and all the stuff they broke, let alone all the tools they took. It was too much work to have all my tools reimbursed, so I just said, keep them, shove it. I don't want to deal with you guys. Here I had insurance for 20 years before I actually needed it. When I needed it, what did they do? They denied it. Anyway, we all know how insurances work. now that whiny stuff that's more like venting. I'm going to show you guys some of these guns, which are kind of important. Okay, this gun is like $100. What is this Makita? This is my favorite now. I have these right here. Senko. I have the DeWalt's. You name it, we got it. But I like this particular one, the Makita, because it's not, like say, I tried this one and I found it encumbersome. It was tough to get in the scaffold, and there's some more reasons, but in order to stay positive, I'll just say this. You get what you pay for, guys. You think you're going to get a good deal for $100? You'll get a gun that you can do in addition and then get rid of it. But this one, $350. Yeah, it's pricey, but you get what you pay for, guys. This one's quiet. It's light. It goes in all different tight spots. And this ear rings. Why? Because this is 10,000 staples in this box. And when I was doing my work, I'd do a box a day, 10,000 staples a day. So I'm like this. It just 10,000 staples a day. This ear rings. And some of these guns are a lot louder than that, so you have to wear earplugs. But anyway, getting off that, and guns specifically, because I wanted to basically show you Stucco Staple guns and codes versus cosmetics. Now we'll get to the paper and the wire. Now, if this already got one layer of paper, that's fine and dandy. And other states say you could use this. We're in California. We got to put 2 layers. It doesn't matter if it's 2 layers of this, 2 layers of the grade D 60 jumbo minute paper, or this. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another layer right here. Once we got it all papered, we're going to staple it. And again, I'll show you this too, simply because I can. Now again, we're almost at Sears Point Raceway. I was telling Dan, boy, you want me to come way out there and work with you guys? Last time I was out here, we were doing the raceway. I'll tell you a quick story about that, since this is easy for me. Okay, now guys, this yellow mark, that's where the studs are for when we do the wire. The wire is going to be put on here. Every 6 inches of staple goes into the stud. We have to account for the shear wall too. So we're using 1.25 inch staples. All right, just for the sake of putting this on, I'm going to show you something, guys. All right, I'm going to put this second row on. Because I could do this stuff blindfolded. I'll talk about the last time I was in this area. That was a long time ago, like 35 years ago. We did a stucco job for a fellow named Skip Berg, and we did his house forever long ago. And he says, "Hey Kirk," after we finished his house, he said, "You do bigger jobs?" I said, "There's no limit to the jobs we do." And so he says, "Well, I got a project. It's Sears Point Raceway. You ever hear of it?" And I said, no. So, make a long story short, if I can, we went to the Sears Point Raceway, and we stuccoed that 3-story watchtower. That's where they film all the cars. And Skip, haven't seen Skip in 30 years, but it was pretty cute. He says, "Hey, Kirk, you guys want to go for a ride around the track?" And we were young. I thought, yeah, man, that sounds kind of cool. And so he says, "Well, okay, I'll get my driver." And he had a Thunderbird. Back at that time, it was a 97 Thunderbird. And I thought, okay, that sounds good. And he says, "Well, I need you to sign a release." And I thought, sign a release? What's that about? And he says, "Well, you got to sign a release, and you got to wear a helmet." And I was starting to get worried, and I thought, wear a helmet? Okay. Anyhow, since we were working at Sears Point Raceway, and Skip was trying to be cute, which was kind of cool. My buddy and I, he took us around, and the guy doing the driving. It was in 1979 or so, or no. Anyway, we're in a Thunderbird, and he was going so fast that 2 or 3 of the wheels, like all the way to the end, the wheels were coming off the ground, and he knew he was scaring the crap out of us. And to make matters worse, he was saying, well, this is turn 1A, and this is turn 1B, and we're in the car, and we were going fast. How fast? Every turn, the wheels would come off the ground and then fall back on. By the time we were done, he says, you guys want to go around again? And I thought, no, I want to get out of this car before I kill you. Let me out of here. Anyway, that's the last time I was in this area. So when Dan said, well, it's way over here, I thought, boy, I don't want to go that far. But at the same time, I thought, I'll come help you guys out on this job. Anyway, I'll put Dan and Carl's, we are in Marin. I'm going to put their information in the description in case you got stucco work, and they actually live in Sonora, so that's a 2-hour drive for them. And I was whining about this is an hour and 10 minutes for me. Anyway, as we get going, we'll show you a little bit more. All right, guys, the easy part. Now we're going to put this, this is 17 gauge wire. Give me a little bit over here. All right, 17 gauge wire. Can you use 18? Of course you could. We just come from a job yesterday that he used paperback wire. Okay, so what I generally like to do, guys, is I'll put a couple pieces in here. We got to keep above the weep screed. Keep above the weep screed. Above that screed, boy. Okay. All right. While you guys are cutting those out, actually, here, Carl, let's put another piece up. And when you guys roll this out, say you guys at home are doing the lath, you want to, this is self-furred wire. What does self-furred mean? It means kind of like dobies in concrete. When they do the dobies in concrete here, they put the rebar in the middle of the concrete, not laying in the mud, otherwise the concrete has just the strength of the concrete. You want the rebar in the middle. Here we want this wire where it's in the middle. We want stucco in back of here, and we want it on the top. When I'm done, Jay will take the camera and go this way, and you'll see how it's self-furred out. Okay, get my handy dandy gun. I keep forgetting that this baby got a pouch. We'll just put it up for now, guys. Lift it up. We'll cut the roll in a second to prove a point. We don't want to make this too long and boring, right, guys? Man. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting out, we want to go 3 squares, guys. 3 inches, 3 squares. Okay. And 3 squares. 3 squares. Code, guys, if you, on lath, 3 squares horizontally. If you're going to go vertically, we want to go over at least a foot or a stud. Technically, code says 6 inches. We go over like 16 for the next stud. Now, I know where all these studs are, so I'm going to cut all this out and show you this in a minute, so save some time. Now what we're going to do is red. These are color-coded. You can't miss. Every 6 inches into the stud. Now this got shear wall on it, so we're using 1.25 inch crown staples. 1 inch for the crown. That's code, guys. All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow this. Okay, just follow this. I'm going on the studs. You can put too many staples, but you shouldn't put too few. And like the job we were on yesterday, the fella got gung-ho. And it was Jay's job, so Jay went and said, dude, you're way too tight. So he pulled it out with hammers, and it kind of worked. We worked our butts off over there because it was too tight at first, and then it was too loose. So the idea, guys, is try to get this just right. Jay will take a picture this way as soon as I get this stapled off, and you'll see what I mean. And while we're at it, question, guys, what's better, furry nails or staples? Now, if you were to type in Google, what's stronger, furry nails for stucco or staples? We did a video on that 10 years ago, too. We've been doing video a lot of years, guys. We got about 1,000, and I mean, I've got 40 years in this trade. So, you guys can depend on us for accurate advice or workmanship. We're experts, guys. We know how to do this stuff very well. The only reason I attached this silly caulking gun was so I remember to point this out. After you get your lath done, then you're going to need to fuse the paper to whatever surface. Say, for example, you have an outlet here. Okay, we got an outlet here. You're going to want to use a polyurethane stuck or caulking or similar. Now this stuff is real nasty if you get it on you. So what I kind of do is do that, and I'll be wearing a different kind of glove, like say for example, and this is the most important, guys, if you're stucco in a house, if you choose somebody that doesn't know how to stucco well, it's going to look ugly. But if you lath it incorrectly and that job leaks, 10 years you're going to have a ton of mold all over your house. So try to find somebody who not only knows how to waterproof properly, but knows all the stuff we're showing you right now. So I'm going to take my glove, the magic glove, and use this and smear this. This is Sika 1A. Sika 1A is probably the strongest caulking that I'm aware of, and I know there's a lot of folks that say, hey, you could use this, you could use rain stop, moist stop, and you can. We use this because it's been around for about 50 years, and I've never heard of it not leaking. This is a construction adhesive sealant. Three drops of this on 2 bricks. You can't pull them apart, and bricks are porous. That's how strong this stuff is. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it because we got a whole lot of work we're doing here. My name is Kirk. Jay on the camera. Carl and Dan's job. I'll put their phone numbers in the description. And Pat, the fellow who's doing this, I'll put his in too. He's a contractor here in Marin. Young fellow like Dan, like 30. I have trowels older than 30 years old. Anyway, my name is Kirk. Jay on the camera. We thank you for watching. And as usual, we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, folks, we want to thank you for watching how we do things in the stucco and plastering world. We really enjoy your questions and comments, so if there's anything you want to learn about that we can show you, please let us know in the comments. And as always, from the entire Giordano family, we'll see you on the next one.